Lebanon City Police are investigating a love triangle stabbing that left a man in critical condition.
Good morning, 6:40. And Steve, I could see the highway in front of me on the way to work today, but I also had to crank that heat up a little more.
When this verdict came in after 7 months, this jury walked in. They were stoic. Jerry Sandusky walked in looking straight ahead, and then one by one, all 48 counts were read. All but 3 were guilty.
We just spoke with dispatchers in York County who say residents in Penn Township in Hanover currently have no water.
This is just another reason why, if you're waking up this morning in Marietta, anywhere for that matter actually, but especially if you're waking up in Marietta and you think, well, it looks clear outside, the river didn't rise quite as much as I thought, I'm going to go down and hang out and get close to it. This is just another reason why you shouldn't.
The issue of gun control and support for tighter regulation is raging from the water cooler all the way to the White House.
Yeah, Annie, absolutely a relief for both school leaders and for students. So many people here had been saying they wanted a peaceful game today.
Now in high definition.
Good evening, I'm Christina Butler. Weather is always first here on CBS 21 News at 10. Let's go to the First Warning Weather Center with Steve Knight. Hey, Steve.
Hey.
Okay, thanks, Steve. A boy was killed in a farming accident in Lancaster County. CBS 21's Jesse Knutson is live with the Lancaster County Mobile Newsroom at the State Police Barracks in East Lampeter Township with the story. Jesse. Lebanon City Police are investigating a love triangle stabbing that left a man in critical condition. It happened last night in the 700 block of South Liberty Street. Police say 22-year-old Ricardo Ortiz Montalvo stabbed the 20-year-old victim while the two were arguing about a woman. We spoke with a man who used to live in the area. He says with the recent crime he's heard about, he worries about the safety of his parents who still live in Lebanon.
Just a different name around here.
Officers say Ortiz Montalvo took off but was later arrested and taken to the Lebanon County Correctional Facility. He's being held on $500,000 bail. We have new details out of Lancaster City where an escaped prisoner is now behind bars. Police say just after 9 last night, 28-year-old Nathaniel Gillespie escaped from a constable's car while handcuffed. He was being taken to Lancaster County Prison on drug charges. About an hour later, officers found him on Chester Street, still in handcuffs. He was taken to the prison and now faces additional charges. And Lebanon police are investigating a fight that resulted in shots being fired. The fight happened Friday night between several juvenile males near Southeast Park. During the fight, a 16-year-old fired a gun into the air twice. Nobody was hit, but a 15-year-old was hurt during the fight. The shooter has been charged and is in the custody of the Lebanon County Juvenile Probation Department. Turning now to the latest in the Jerry Sandusky child sex scandal, jurors in Sandusky's trial say they will attend his sentencing on Tuesday. The convicted child molester is expected to be told he will spend the rest of his life in prison. The Associated Press talked with 5 members of the jury who all say they have not once regretted or second-guessed their guilty verdict. Now, immediately before he is sentenced, the judge will determine whether Sandusky is a sexually violent predator. That would mean he would need to register as a sex offender if he was ever to be paroled. And I will be in Bellefonte for Sandusky sentencing along with Tanya Foster. We will have complete coverage right here on CBS 21 and, of course, online at CBS21.com. Now, under our coverage of Campaign 2012, a new government report shows the unemployment line is shrinking and more Americans are finding jobs. The Labor Department says the economy added 114,000 jobs in September, and the unemployment rate dropped from 8.1% to 7.8%. President Obama spread this news at a rally in Virginia, but Mitt Romney says most of the jobs created are only part-time, which does not lead to a real recovery. No president has been reelected with unemployment above 8% since the Great Depression. Meanwhile, the latest Rasmussen poll shows the president edging out Mitt Romney. In 11 key swing states, the president is ahead 49 to 46%. Pennsylvania is included in that. You can catch all the latest numbers in this year's election on What America Thinks with Scott Rasmussen, Sunday mornings at 8:30 right here on CBS 21. There are more changes with the Interstate 81 exit at Front Street. The ramp from North Front Street to South 81 is now back open, but the ramp from 81 North to Front Street is now closed. It will be shut down for more than a month. PennDOT says drivers should continue on I-81 to Route 22-322, then head west to the interchange with Lingelstown Road and take that to Front Street. 5 terror suspects appeared in a U.S. court today. Coming up, more on the men and the crimes they are accused of, including trying to set up a terrorist camp right here in America. Plus, which soup had what it takes to win the Hershey Partnership's 9th annual soup cook-off.
Yeah, Annie, absolutely a relief for both school leaders and for students. So many people here had been saying they wanted a peaceful game today so they could prove that this university is about more than just scandals and riots. Despite an early morning bomb threat at Beaver Stadium that turned out to be false, they got that wish. It was your typical home game in Happy Valley. Penn State pride,
Penn State,
and tailgates. But this game was under close scrutiny in more ways than one. First, by extra police in the air and on the ground, but also by America wanting to see what would happen when 107,000 people packed Beaver Stadium at the end of the most rocking week this university has ever seen.
People are realizing we need to come together instead of cause all the ruckus that they were doing days ago. I think this is a turning point.
Not even Westboro Baptist members could bother them. Students shielded fans walking into the game.
That we don't want them to ignore Westboro, and we want them to ignore the hate speech that they're spewing today and just enjoy the game.
Even Nebraska fans, who at one point this week were told to tone down their team colors for safety, had no fears.
We were out town last night. There was nothing going on. There's just people having fun and supporting the school.
A losing score, sure, another hit to Penn State pride. But in the end, maybe also a point in a different type of win column.
I think everybody wanted a chance to come together and show that they still support Penn State and have a lot of pride in Penn State, and that, you know, we are bigger than this one event.
And it's also worth pointing out that a group of Penn State alumni are trying to raise $500,000 for a foundation called RAIN. That stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. Today alone, they collected half of that goal. Live with the Center County Mobile Newsroom in State College, Christina Butler, CBS 21 News. Yeah, Sherry, we want to let people know that as they are waking up this morning, there are still dangers out here. Take a look right over here. This has just been called in as a hazmat situation. A hazmat crew is on the way to check this out. What this is home heating oil. And we are joined now by a deputy director with the EMA, Tom Brill, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about this. You're guessing this is about 250 gallons or so of home heating oil.
Being as there's water involved, it's kind of hard to say. This is a substantial amount of home heating oil, though, from the thickness and the way it looks. And this is something common that we're going to find today. This is not something unusual. It's not something that we believe anybody did wrong. When these basements fill up, they got heating oil tanks in there. Most of them are 200 to 275 gallons. The water is going to push the heating oil out, which it did in this case.
And just kind of remind our viewers at home who may be watching this just how dangerous this can be. I mean, we can smell it right here. It's a strong smell, but I mean, what else is, you know, how can this turn into a serious situation with stuff like this?
Well, it's an environmental hazard mostly. It's not a hazardous material to where if you get it on you a little bit, it's not going to hurt you, but it's environmental hazard to the ground here. It's a dirt ground, so it's going to soak in. Obviously, with this kind of a spill, we will have to notify DEP. It's never good to get any kind of petrochemical like this on you because it has benzene, which is a carcinogen. That's the kind of stuff that you really don't want on you.
And if somebody has a little bit of this in their backyard, you know, if it's theirs, if they see it with a neighbor, the best thing for them to do right now is what?
Contact the fire company, contact the police department, let them know, get someone out here that can make a determination whether they need a response or whether it's something that's just minor.
All right, well, we know you have a lot to do, so thank you for catching us up on that. We appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be talking to you throughout the day. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Okay, so just a recap for you. A hazmat team is on the way to check this out here. Again, it's home heating oil, about 250 gallons. Again, he said it's kind of hard to know exactly how much because of the rain, but it's a significant enough amount that they are going to get some hazmat members out here to check this out and make sure they know exactly how they can control this. But this is just another reason why, if you're waking up this morning in Marietta, anywhere for that matter actually, but especially if you're waking up in Marietta and you think, well, it looks clear outside, the river didn't rise quite as much as I thought, I'm going to go down and hang out and get close to it. This is just another reason why you shouldn't, because all of this oil like this from homes, from basements, there's an excavation company we were telling you about earlier this morning upstream from here. They had 3 1,000-gallon tanks. That diesel got out. So there is diesel, there's bad stuff in this water. We're going to give you a closer look if we just take a couple steps down here. This is where it has flooded up here. We are on East Hazel Avenue and Whiteford Avenue, and you can see these houses here are kind of blocked in. Probably at the deepest here, this area down by that stop sign is about maybe 3 feet deep, but you can tell why they don't want people down here getting in the middle of this. This is in the evacuation zone for Marietta. We've been talking about that all morning, from Hazel Avenue to the river, including Front Street. That whole area has been evacuated. That went into effect at 5 o'clock yesterday. Now, we're told there are about maybe 10 or 15 families in this stretch here who decided to not go along with officials and to stay in their homes for whatever reason. But we are told that they did not have any major problems overnight. We checked with police, we checked with other county officials, and they've all said that they had no major emergencies overnight. They got no distress calls. So that's a good situation. That's a good update that we can pass along to you here. We also want to remind people in Marietta, and as we're doing this, I'm gonna direct our attention over here. These, again, are these hazmat people checking out the situation. Just again, another live visual as to why you need to be careful if you're going out this morning in Marietta. Also, if you're going out, be careful the roads, the 2 major roads going in and out of Marietta. 441, which is normally a straight thoroughfare, that is shut down this morning. So is 23 Marietta Avenue. That is shut down. That's because the bridges that are on those 2 major roads, they're shut down because they were compromised by the water. They can't reopen until they get structural engineers out, and that's going to be quite a few days at this point because those structural engineers have so many areas to check out. We also want to remind people as you're waking up this morning, and maybe we can step this way. We're just going to kind of keep looking around as we chat here. We want to remind people to really limit your water usage this morning in Marietta because the sewage treatment plant is down, and that is also for some people in East Donegal Township outside of the borough, but your sewage treatment is shut down. So that means that your water cannot be treated if you're flushing your toilet, if you're taking a shower. So they're really asking residents to limit that and to watch how much they're using. And that's actually for your own good because they can't do anything with the water. So worst case scenario, that could end up coming back through your pipes, back through your toilet, making for a really gross and an unsanitary situation. As far as power outages, we're actually told they believe they have those under control for the areas of higher elevation. For a while there was a fear they might have kind of rolling blackouts where they were shutting down parts of the borough at certain times, but we're told that's actually under control right now. It's mainly this East Hazel Avenue and back that is such the problem. Their power and gas has been turned off since 1 o'clock, but the rest of the city, or the rest of the town here in Marietta, they're saying is actually okay with that. And then just to kind of take off from that there, if you are in one of those areas where either you don't have your power but you chose not to evacuate and now you're deciding maybe you want to because you need some water, you're sick of hanging out with no electricity, no gas, you can go to the shelter on at Donegal Middle School, and there they will allow you to bring in pets also. That is for anybody at all who is impacted. You don't need to be in that evacuation zone to take advantage of that shelter at Donegal Middle School. Anybody who wants to can go there. They'll give you some food, they'll give you some water, they will also take in your pets. At last check, they had about 33 dozen or so people there, and they did have 10 dogs there. That was at some point overnight. So people are taking advantage of it, and they're encouraging anyone that needs to get out and that needs some food, water, shelter, they're encouraging them to go there.